Oh, what's up, everybody? Got another real-time edit for you. Something a little different here, I think. These redneck grebes from my visit to Alaska. It's really funny how they were just like calling at each other and like head to head there, right in the light line of water in the background. And so that's kind of how I composed it. And boy, I don't want to clip that leg, but I also want to kind of center them up. So I'm going to clip it just a little bit there. Yeah, something like that should do. Oh, I'm just going to get rid of that one bright light. There we go. All right. And I meant to shoot this as a silhouette. In fact, I thought I did some negative exposure compensation, but so I'm going to drop the shadows, silhouette it, and actually just make it a little bit more like sunsetty kind of silhouette type deal there. I don't want to go too dark because I don't want to lose that rim light up there around the edges. So I think the rest of the darkening I'll probably have to do in the old Photoshop. So let me get some more detail back, go a little bit warmer with it. Something like that should do the trick. There we go. I think that color's pretty good. Let me make the water just a little bit more golden down there, just because it's got that look of the sun reflecting right into it. And I think from there, that's pretty good. I'll jump into Photoshop and see if I can make this even more dramatic. This should be one of those photos that shouldn't take real long, but it's going to have a significant change off the original. So I'm just going to start out with a curves layer, and I really just want to blacken out that background. I just want to make it pure black back there. So, oops. So we'll do that, and then I just got to bring back the little bit of rim light there because that kind of darkened some of that up. And I'm also going to enhance that in a bit. Well, and actually, now that I'm really digging into this photo, I realize it's not going to be a real fast one here because there's just a lot of some detailed work I want to do here. All right, so the next step is to kind of silhouette the birds a little more. Listen, if I'm going for a silhouette, I kind of want them to be silhouetted, not this like weird in between where it's like, oh, look, I can see part of their faces and stuff like that. Like, to me, that just is kind of odd. I don't mind seeing some of the bill here because it's like lighter and yellow and got some light coming through it, but maybe just on the edges. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of burn down some of these areas here just so they kind of really black out and go a little bit more towards that silhouette vibe that I'm after here versus just a ton of detail on this side of the subject. So yeah, the reflections I don't have to worry about. Those are just smearing out anyway. Really cool birds, man. We hung out with them for a while. Jamin Taylor put me on these birds, took me to this one spot, and they were just there, super cooperative. We actually shot them for, I don't know, probably like an hour, and then left, and then came back when the light got better. And they were just still, or actually, no, there was only one at that point. But it was still there. I was able to shoot it. But this was from the earlier session where the light was strong, but as you can see, some creative exposure and, getting just the right angle where I was actually photographing them into this kind of line of light. It definitely helped make something a little bit more creative. And if I was shooting them just front light, like front lit, I should say, in this light, it would have been just a bit harsh and probably not the best. So anyways, as you can see, I'm just kind of trying to enhance the rim light that's there. It's not quite enough up top, so I'm going to do even more on that. But let me do some of this on the other bird here. This is looking good. Just really it's these little tiny details sometimes that make a difference to me. And I'm sure plenty of you watching this are like, who cares? Who's going to notice that? And I think a lot of times not many people would notice it, but I certainly do. And I like to make these things kind of just look exactly the way I have in my mind if I can. So this is the second dodge layer. I'm just kind of continuing this rim light, and I just want to exaggerate it where it was getting a little darker up top there. There we go. That's excellent rim light around there. I got to get more detail back in that middle section if I can. Yes. I was going to say, I know the sun was nailing that. I didn't know how much I'd get back, but I got some back there, so that's good. All right, let's layer that in. Huh? I don't know what that thing was yelling at me about. Get over there. There we go. Drop that to the bottom, mask it out, and then I'll just paint some of this back in. There we go. Take down some of these flares off of the water there. And listen, I'm not going to get all the detail back that I would like in there because I messed up the exposure. I should have shot this whole thing darker to begin with. But hey, can't get it perfect every time, you know? That's what post-processing's for. All right. This one bokeh ball is just a little weird to me right there. So I think I'm just going to kind of, I don't know if I want to get rid of it or, yeah, just softening it I think was nice. Oh, and then the other area that I want to see is the hole through the nostril there, which is really cool. So we'll kind of bring that back up so it's more visible right through the, there we go. And I think that might be it. I'm going to play with some toning now and see if I can get a little bit more kind of orangey red in that background right through the middle there. It kind of makes sense. So I don't want to make the back of these birds any more red than they already are. So I got to be careful with that. But I do think the water glowing into that orange look is going to be good. And maybe just a little hit of exaggeration down there, and there we go. Now it looks like this golden sunrise silhouette between the pair. So from that to that, look at that rim light kicking up on top of their heads, and it completes along the slope of the head there, whereas here it's pretty much gone. So yeah, I think that is pretty good. The brightest area is right in the middle there. I could probably actually get just a little bit more tone in that. There we go. But I do want to keep it brighter, so that's where your eye goes, right to the middle there where the two are calling out at each other. And how lucky for me to shoot this wide open and get them both on the same focal plane. They might not be perfectly sharp, both of them, but I gotta say they're pretty darn close. Actually, no, they're both on the same plane there. They're both sharp. So, bit of a change on this one. Look at that. There's your before and after. So, kind of boring shot to me, you know, just nothing really happening there. It's like a weird in between, like what the hell's going on here. It just looks like almost a mistake, you know, but I did have an intention, which was to silhouette these beaks in that bright opening. And so when I get to it and process it, that's where I'm going to be. And I got to say, now that I'm jumping back and forth, this one does look a little bit too red to me overall. So I'm just going to hop in here, just do a quick global reduction in red. Whoa, not that much. And maybe actually, you know, I'm going to do a reduction in red in the shadows, but not highlights. So I'll leave the highlights up there. All this is making weird colors. So let's try instead to just desaturate it all a little bit. And then maybe shift the hue a little towards, yes, there we go. A little bit to the green side, just the tiniest bit. That's better. It's more golden now and less red. And I know it took the saturation, like the intensity of the color down a little bit, but I think it's just going to feel better overall. Yeah, that does feel better. So there's my final shot on that one. Nice. I'm happy with that. Cool. I hope you guys like this one. Thanks so much for following along on this real-time edit. If you want to learn a little bit more about how I do this, visit my website, rayhennessy.com. Head on over to the workshops menu, down to online workshops, and then hit the remote training session. You can get in touch with me. We'll schedule a remote session. I work with people all over the world, and we work, you know, anytime that works for both of us. So the scheduling is really flexible, and you can learn anything you want. I'll teach you Lightroom, Photoshop. I'll critique your photos, answer any questions you may have. So it's a great way to learn with me. The other option to learn from me is this online bird photography course. Again, you can find that through my website or just visit learnbirdphotos.com. This is a video course. I got a ton of video instruction there covering everything I know about how I do and approach bird photography. So check that out, and you can sign up right at learnbirdphotos.com. So thanks again so much for watching. all of these real-time edits. I've been getting great feedback from everybody. Please share these with your friends and fellow photographers. It's a huge help for me to just keep growing the YouTube channel. And the more it grows, the more of this kind of content I can do. Because at a certain point, if I can't start making some money with it, I can't keep this up. It's a lot of work. But I do love sharing these and hope you guys enjoy them as well. So thanks again, and I will have another one for you soon.